ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome and peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into this episode of the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. Come one, come all. Don't hesitate. I want blood. I am looking for blood. I am out. And I'm about to explain why. Just a second. Let me get all my stuff situated. I'm getting all my stuff situated. Hold on 1 second. Come on, like the show, share the show, tell a friend, get with us. Get with us or get left. Yeah. It is what it is. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today, man? Salute, Saru. What up? Everything's everything. What up, Teddy? What up, Enigma 9x9? What up? What's going on? Yeah, he said first. Y'all crazy. Nah. I don't start it. I end it. Let's get that straight. I don't start it. I end it. Be minding my business to push my button. All right, so if y'all wasn't on Kofi Piesie research team earlier, you know what I'm saying? You may have missed some information that was actually kicked on the show. So please go over there, do your due diligence to review the last interview Kofi did with the gentleman named Baba Imhotep. However, I don't care nothing about you being in the chat. Your wife support me. She gonna love every minute of this. Look at him. Look at it. Bad character. Look at it. Don't even know what I'm doing. Bad character. Look at that. See there? He in his feelings. Y'all. Look, he in his feelings. I ain't said nothing. He in his feelings. I ain't said a word yet. You see how it get? I ain't said nothing. Look at him. Already crying. Get your husband some tissue. He gonna need some tissue after this. He gonna need some tissue after this. Y'all already crying. Ain't this some shiggity? All right, so now that I got my brother all ruffled up, right? It's Kofi all up in arms, right? Let's get to it. Come on, y'all. Like the show, share the show. Let's get it in. Get the people in the building. Come on now. Read the description. Listen, look what the description of the video say. I will critique a few issues. It's supposed to say, well, what I have with my brother Kofi Piesie's beliefs that creating your own spiritual system is baseless. I want war and I'm drawing blood. Let me go fix the video. Yeah. We ain't listening to Kofi no more. We muting Kofi. I'm muting him. I'm muting him. I already got a thumbs down. Shout out to the thumb downer, whoever you are. Appreciate you. Thumb down the video. It's all good. I get at least 2 of those every day. Come on, y'all. Like, look, I'm about to get it cracking, but I need y'all to like the show, share the show. Share the show. All right. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me. I got the video edited the way that I needed to. I want blood. Look at him. You will have it, my brother. War, you will have it. Yeah. Right now, I'm finna beat you baseless. You finna get this work. Kofi finna get this work. Come on now. I ain't said, listen, we get some more people in the building, then I'm gonna start. I'm supposed to be talking about COVID right now. Cause somebody wanted to play Captain Saberho. I'm on his ass. I'm on his ass, ladies and gentlemen. No homo. Kofi, no, he don't. I'm finna show you he don't represent Kamoyo. I'm finna show you he don't represent Kamoyo. Talking about Kofi representing Kamoyo. I'm finna show you he don't represent Kamoyo. I'm finna show you he don't. I'm on your head. Where you at? I'm on your head. Say something in the chat. Say how you don't. CK, ain't nothing going on. I'm just finna beat up on my brother real quick. I ain't got nothing else to do. Boom! Let's get to it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. I would like to submit this into the court of execution. What's Wrong with Starting Your Own Kimoyo by Kofi Piesie. For those of you who do not have the copy of this book is our volume 3 work. This chapter, we reorganized the chapter. So this is chapter 4 in Spiritual Combat. It's the Green Book. It's a historical survey of the minds of African warrior scholars, volume 3. All right. The author of this particular chapter is Kofi Piesie. Yeah, the gentleman in the chat who cussed me out. Him. That guy. I ain't said nothing but him. So let's read a little bit of Kofi's book, and then we're going to go on a journey to see if he is representing Kimoyo. All right. There's been a consensus of Africa being the mother continent because it is the oldest inhabited continent on Earth. Humans and human ancestors have lived in Africa for more than 5 million years. See, he kicking science right here, ladies and gentlemen. Africa, the second largest continent, is bounded by the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Indian Sea, and the Atlantic Ocean. The rise of human ancestors, paleoanthropologist Katerina Harvati says anthropologists have discovered thousands of fossils of an extinct ancestor. There is now a fairly good picture of the general pattern of our evolution since the separation of human lineage from that of the chimpanzee some 7 million years ago. Kicking the science. Then he brings to us the Hominid Timeline, ladies and gentlemen. He's kicking us the science. No. I'm a kid. Hominid Timeline. Until recently, It was believed that the human evolution was a straightforward process with a single line species connecting modern humans to an ape like ancestor. That's the science. However, our history is actually much more complicated than this. Many species coexisted and overlapped, and some lineages became extinct along the way. There is no single missing link between our ancestors and those of other apes. Of course, that is not to say we know everything there is to know about human evolution. The fossil record contains only bones that end up in an ideal condition for preservation. Additionally, the individual members of any species, including modern humans, differ from one another by varying degrees in different groups, separated into distinct species only slowly through a process of continual change. 55 million years ago, the first primitive primates evolved. First gorillas evolved 8 to 6 million years ago. Later, chimps and the human lineages diverge. All right, here's a complicated one. Orion to Genius, the oldest human ancestor thought to have walked on two legs. Audiopithecus, proto-human. All right, shares traits with chimps, gorillas, and forest dwellings. Australopithecine appear. They have brains no larger than a chimpanzee with a volume around 400 to 500 cm3, but walk upright on two legs. The first human ancestors to live on a savanna. Lucy, famous specimen of Australopithecus. All right, we all know where she lived. Paranthropus, they live in the woods and grasslands. Homo habilis appears in its portraits less than earlier hominids. All right, now you have the hominids started to use stone tools around 2 million years ago. All right, created by splitting pebbles. Okay. Some hominids developed meat rich diets as scavengers. The extra energy may have favored the evolution of larger brains. Evidence of Homo ergaster with a brain volume of up to 850 cm3 in Africa. Then 1.8, 1.5 million years ago, we get Homo erectus. Right? Possible first sporadic use of suggested discolored sediments comes after Homo erectus. Following that, more complex ethylene stone tools were produced in 1.2. 600,000, we have Homo heidelbergensis. 500,000 years ago, we get evidence of purpose-built shelters. 400,000 years ago, we get early humans begin to hunt with spears. 325 years ago, we get the oldest surviving human footprints. Are left three people who scrambled down slopes of volcano in Italy. Let's stop right here. We also get 325, 350,000 years ago, we get that hominid up there in Morocco. Let's not forget that. 280,000 years ago, the first complex stone blades and grinding tools. 230,000 years ago, Neanderthals appear and found across Europe and Britain. 195,000 years ago, our species, Homo sapiens sapiens, is on the scene. He kicking that science. So you see, the African continent has a unique place in past human events. We do not believe we know Africa is the cradle of humankind. Africa is the only continent with fossil evidence of human beings, Homo sapiens, and their ancestors through each key stage of evolution. It is a fact that all major hominid stages can be found on the continent of Africa. That's a scientific fact. Humanity started on the second biggest continent we call Africa today. At the beginning of modern humans, there have been trial and error, and there have been plenty of migrations. But Kofi wants to talk about two of those migrations before he goes any further into different geographical locations that determine how one's culture is encompassing language, religion, food, and social habits, music, and art. The two other migrations he's referring to is the Bantu migration and the African kidnapping trade that helped define the continent's cultural geography. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have your copy of Spiritual Combat, I suggest that you go on our website and pick up your copy of Spiritual combat. Kofi is going in right now. The Bantu migration was a massive migration of people across Africa about 2,000 years ago. The Bantu migration is the most important human migration to have occurred since the first human ancestors left Africa more than 1 million years ago. Lasting 1,500 years, the Bantu migration involved the movement of people whose language belonged to the Congo-Niger language group, or the common Congo-Niger word for a human being is Bantu. The Bantu migration was a southeastern movement. Historians do not agree on why Bantu speaking people moved away from their homelands in West Africa, Niger Delta Basin, but Kofi believed it could have been from drying up of the Sahara grassland, which leads to the groups that practice agriculture to migrate in search of new fertile land and water for farming. They first moved southeast through the rainforests of Central Africa. Eventually, they migrated to the savannas in the southeastern and southwestern parts of the continent, including what is today Angola and Zambia. The other human migration is of Africa and the African kidnapping trade. See, he's waiting for me to turn the corner. But I'm not going to turn the corner right here. I'm going to bang on you in just a moment. I remember reading the Digital History ID 445 article that states between the 15th and 19th centuries, more than 15 million Africans were transported across the Atlantic to be sold as slaves in North and South America. Millions of African kidnapped victims were also transported within the continent, usually the Central African and Madagascar to North Africa and South Africa. Millions of Africans died in the slave trade. Most Africans kidnapped victims were taken from the isolated interior of the continent. They were sold in the urban areas of West African coast. Thousands died in a brutal process of their capture, and thousands more died on the forced migration to trading centers. Even more lost their lives in the treacherous voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. Now that we have established humanity, human evolution has started in Africa, and there were many migrations, let's now get into those geographical locations in Africa where the locations determines the culture, the way of life, thoughts, natural and supernatural ideas, how we are African traditional religions, where African traditional religions were founded. I mentioned numerous times in the presentation and in publications that some of the world's religions, like Christianity and Islam, have a founder who started them. This is not the case with African traditional religions, or what we call Kimoyo. It evolved slowly through many centuries as people responded to the situations of their lives and reflected upon their experiences. Many factors must have played a part in its development. These include the geographical environment, mountains, rivers, deserts, and forests, the change of the seasons, the powers of nature, such as earthquakes, thunderstorms, and volcanoes, calamities, epidemic, disease, birth, death, major historical events like wars, locust invasions, famines, migrations, and so on. See, Kofi mentions Kimoyo with his teacher Asar Imhotep introduced to us 7 months ago. He broke down how anthropologists came into Africa in the early periods and seen these animal representations all across Mother Africa. They were associated with the spirit of deities. So in Kemet, you see these animal representations of deities like Heru, Anpu, Sutek, Jehuti, and the list goes on. Anthropologists use word as animism to reflect animal representation of concepts in African traditional religion. Most African cultures and traditions that Kofi studied believed everything has a spirit, whether it is animated or inanimated. Foucault states Moyo, according to the ancient schools of Africa, means vital power. Moyo is what is in vitality of life. It is the key word to Kimbantu, the Bantu way of their philosophy. Kimoyo, vitalism, is their religion, and it is not animism. Let me go back just a moment because there's a comment in the chat that I want to reread. I think my brother's Teddy said it. He said that Kofi represent Kimoyo or something. Hold up. I don't want to. Let me not mess it up. Let me not mess it up. Kofi representing Kimoyo. Kofi, you represent Kimoyo? Where you at? Your wife listening. So I know you listening. So answer in the chat. Do you represent Kimoyo? Yes or no? Ain't no wrapping it up. I got all day. I'm on the Mossi. Kofi says he represents Kimoyo. We got it on record. African traditional religions or Kimoyo heritage traces its origins to the human quest for meaning and self-understanding. The same question which every people have asked about themselves and the world in which they live since the dawn of human consciousness. How was the world created? How did human and non-human forms of life come to be? What is the meaning of life and death? Were also posed by our African forebears, and the answers given to these questions came out of their own unique experiences and reflections. See, the answers, pregnant with philosophical and theological meaning, took the form of myths and stories. And these myths and stories would not have come about if people had not asked questions about their existence. Kofi has a small list of names of indigenous African religions or Kimoyo, where you will see the people that practice these traditions, such as the Fan, Ashanti, Akan, Igbo, Lubu, Yoruba, and other ethnic groups who were forced to migrate. And out of the many forced migrations, other traditions were formed. This list is the foundation for them. Also, I would like Kofi, also, Kofi would like to say the Africans migrated on their own for centuries. So even the list of African traditional religions or Kimoyo has been shaped, created, and formed by groups who migrated to different geographical locations, like Vodun, Isheshe, Akun, Bakongo, Odinani. Regale de Ocha, the first up, is an Afro-American religion of Yoruba origin that developed in Cuba among West African descendants. Regale de Ocha, the rule of the Osu. The Yoruba people carried with them various religious customs, including a trance and divination system for communicating with the ancestors and deities, animal sacrifice, and sacred drumming and dancing. The need to preserve their traditions and belief systems in a hostile cultural environment prompt the enslaved Africans of various ethnic groups in Cuba, starting from as early as 1515, to merge their customs with an aspect of Roman Catholicism. Lukumi is an Afro-Cuban ethnic group of Yoruba ancestry that practices Regla de Ocha. The Lukumi people are also found in Colombia. The term Lukumi was given to the Yoruba-speaking slaves as, what is that? Emancipados from intercepted slave ships after the abolition by the authorities. Lukumi derived from the common Yoruba greeting, Olokumi, my friend, and that the slaves used the phrase to communicate to the new Yoruba-speaking captives arriving in Cuba to indicate that they were not alone in a foreign land. Santeria is also known as Regla de Ocha. Santeria is a Spanish word that means the worship of saints. Santeria is influenced by the syncretism of Roman Catholicism. It's a Spanish slang term for Regla de Ocha. People looking at my good brother Benjamin Njai, Kofi's good brother Benjamin Njai presentation. I've always thought, Kofi, always thought Santeria and Lukumi were two separate traditions because a few books Kofi picked up and read a few years ago didn't make it clear. All three terms mean the same thing. They use the words interchangeably, or like they're not even connected. So Santeria is the same as saying Regla de Ocha. And when you say Lukumi, you are referring to Lukumi people. And Lukumi is also used as a slang for Regla de Ocha. An example of what Kofi mean by slang, grass is slang for marijuana. So he gives you an example. If the Lukumi people did not keep the traditions alive in South America, the Caribbean, such as Cuba, would not have it in the United States today. The Cuban Babaluos started migrating to the United States in the 60s and practicing secrecy in the 70s, and African Americans became interested in Yoruba culture. So you see, the various African ethnic group of Southwest Nigeria, Benin, and Togo migrated forcefully during the kidnapping trade to different geographical locations where they took their culture and modified it because of the location of their circumstances. Pelo, Los Reglas de Ochas. Pelo, also known as Las Reglas de Congo, is a religion with various denominations that developed in Cuba among Central African slaves and the descendants who originated in the Congo Basin. Denominations often referred to as branches of Palo include Mayambe or Melambe, Mante, Breyamba, or Brelamba, or Kimbasa. The word, the Spanish word palo, stick, was applied to the religion in Cuba due to the use of wood sticks in the preparation of altars, which were also called Le Inganga, El Caldero, Inkisi, or La Prenda. Priests of Polo are known as pelores, tatas, men, yayas, women, ingagaluros. Initiates are known as engoyos or pina nueve. According to Ortiz, between 17% and 24% of the African kidnapped victims who arrived in Cuba between 1817 and 1843 were Bakongo. Remember, though, through colonization, which is an action or process the Europeans took to establish control over the indigenous people areas. Different African ethnic groups were kidnapped from Central Africa and taken to numerous areas and were heavily forced to migrate to North Africa and South Africa. The religion or way of life of Congo origin can be shown to exist in Cuba, but they have to adapt, modify, and alter their traditions due to the geographical locations and their circumstances. Palo also can be found in Brazil, Mexico, and the United States. Before I go further, Brother Kofi answered the question earlier when I said, do you, Kofi, represent Kimoyo? And Kofi says, I represent Kimoyo. Yes, I do. Well, if you represent Kimoyo, Kofi, why is this still happening in Cuba? The masking of African deities into Roman Catholicism. Why, Kofi, since you represent Kimoyo, is this happening? Because you represent Kimoyo, this should not be occurring today. There's no need to continue to mask African deities into Roman Catholicism. I'm going to go further. Now, I'm going to skip a couple of these because he defines all of these perfectly. There's no argument there. He defines all of them perfectly, and then he shows you how they get here. But my question is, if you represent Kimoyo, why are you okay with starting your own Kimoyo in 2021 going into 2022? Because from the first 7 pages of your book, scientifically, you outline the argument to a T. However, where you falter at is the belief that it is okay for some African Americans to take bits and pieces of every freaking African tradition and culture and customize it in a sense and project it onto people in the conscious community and make it seem like it's African. Let me go back up just a little bit. Where you at? Nope, you can't speak. This my show. I'm on your neck. I ain't done yet. I got that question. I want that answer. Second, you represent Kimoyo in its wholeheartedness. You represent Kimoyo. So you should be not the biggest, the second biggest out of the Mossi, the second biggest, right? The second biggest person to want us to learn as close as we can, the traditional practices and ways of our ancestors, whether it's the song and dance, because it has meaning. Remember, right? I'm talking to everybody else. I'm not talking to Kofi. This is for everybody, okay? The elements of Kimoyo are intricate in African way of life, ladies and gentlemen. That means when a person wakes up on the continent, right, in the village where they live, right, there is something that they do when they get up. There is something that they do before they leave to go to work. There is something that they do on their way to work. It is something that they do during their work. And then on their way home, there is something that they do. There is something that they do when they come in the doors of their homes. And then there is something that they do before they even commune to eating everything else. And then they do everything else. What I am basically saying is at the root of what Africans do is the centerpiece of Kimoyo. It is in all the things that they do, right? When we define Kimoyo in another sense of the word, and hold on, let me get out of this real quick. Let me get out of this real quick. When we define it in the sense of the word, right? When we just go through and give a general breakdown, you had mentioned it earlier, vitalism. Vitalism, right? But there's other words that it means. I can grab the book, but I don't feel like grabbing the book. Shoot, I'm all the way down there. All right, so you have vitalism, the art of adding life to life. Heart, life, soul, spirit. Heart, life, mind, soul, courage, will, desire, inclination, sense, mood, thought, salvation, greetings. Air, wind, breath, soul, spirit. To have the power, perception, to be prudent, discreet. Right? At the root of this, what we see, what we've studied, what we've learned, what we continue to learn, what we continue to study, what we continue to teach, what we continue to convey. If we're adding life to life, at the root of it is the traditional practices that have already answered our questions before we even got to a new world. At the root of it. So there would be no need today. But you can speak. Where you at? You got the link. You know you can sign right on in here. Hop on in. Open your mic. Join. Where you at? Because I know you're over there sweating. Your palms itching. You're ready to cuss. You're probably cussing your wife out. Come on in here. Let's get it in. We're going to add some life to life tonight. Get on in here. Beautiful Lessons of Kimoyo author. Where you at? Come on now, because I'm going to go on your book. Okay, hurry up. I'm about to go on your book, and I'm going to show you why I say what I say. And then we have the pseudoscientists. Then we have the pseudo. At the root of what African do is human. No, it's not. Because every other human on the planet don't do what Africans do. They don't. They don't pay their reverence and respects to their ancestors before they leave the house, on their way to work, while they're at work, on their way home from work. When they come back home, they don't do that, They don't add life to life like this, It doesn't have the same intricate meaning and establishment in their wholeheartedness. This is where some people fail to really understand what our ancestors actually went through to answer their natural world questions, because they weren't answering questions and developing systems that answer questions for Europe, for China, or other Asian countries. They weren't doing that for South America, Antarctica, Poland. They weren't doing it for Greenland. They weren't doing it for the North Pole, Canada. They weren't doing it for Alaska. They weren't doing it for nowhere else. Africans designed and created things that answer questions for Africans. And then this dude that hopped on this platform with this pseudo degree. Man, I'm about to beat the pink out of your head. Get on in here. Go ahead, sir. We can't hear you on mute. There you go. There you go.
All right. Hold on. Let me change. Let me see something. Let me change everything. Okay.
You pseudo. We ain't sending you no link, because you can't show us in human history where other people did these things. We're not talking to you today. This is between me and Kofi. You see the title?
Now, that is clear that you with that you didn't understand what I was trying to do with that. And again, I represent Kimoyo, but I'm still gonna state there's nothing wrong with starting your own chemo. And what I mean by starting your own chemo, that's why I laid out in that chapter. I laid down the evolution of hominids, of Homo sapiens sapiens. So I laid that down and laid the work down to show you that humanity, or there is a consensus that humanity started and evolved in Africa. And from those different stages, especially when you get to a Homo sapiens sapien, even before you get to a Homo sapiens sapien, they determine their culture and their traditions off of the geographical location. I done said this 1,000 times within that book. I said it 1,000 times in the Kimoyo, because my beautiful lessons about Kimoyo presentations that I did is determined by the geographical locations. In the book that you read a while ago, volume 3, I think that was volume 3, where I talk about how their geographical location shaped their perspective, shaped their natural and supernatural thinking. Catastrophic events that happen, things that they question, that they begin to start to answer their own questions, so they come up with these mythological stories where people go when they die, where people go before they are born and come out of the stomach, and etc. Why certain things happen to them in this geographical locations, as rocks erupts or storms happen because of certain things that they didn't do, or they didn't please different spirits or a deity. So when you look at them migrating, whether you went into, that's why you don't have, that's why I tried to stay away from the word African spirituality and the word African tradition or religion, because it encased all those different way of lives into one scope when we know that's not. In each place that you go, you see that these different ethnic groups, their way of life may be similar, but they are different. A lot of the elements they have, some elements they have on their own because of the geographical location that they have. Some things that they have in Central Africa, they don't have in West Africa. Some things that they have or they see in West Africa, they don't see in East Africa. Some of the things that they go through or encounter and see in East Africa, they don't see in South Africa. So the traditions are similar, but they vary according to the geographical locations. So even when you look in West Africa, where Ghana at, the place of Ghana. Then you look at where the place of Gambia or Sierra Leone at. So you have one group called their traditions Fataru. Then you have in Ghana, you have a place that call themselves a Kumi. The people in the tradition in Kumi is not called the same in Sierra Leone and Gambia. It's called Fataru, because there are differences within those things. So even with those places, you have certain people migrate from one place to another place, and then they create their own kimoyo because they have migrated. If you go through and you look through the historical record, time after time, we have migrated from one place to the next place. Some of the things that we take with us when we leave one place, we take it on to another place. So now we have to adapt to the next place that we go to. Again, some of the things that you have in the same thing here. The same thing when you look at people that practice Esheshe. Esheshe is a popular tradition here, right? So with Esheshe, there are certain things that they use in Africa and Nigeria. We're not privy to those same things over here. So they substitute some of those things when you're dealing with divination. So they substitute some of those things. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You said they substitute. How would you know that you're substituting something for something that you know nothing about?
We do know certain things that don't grow over here. When we talk about cola nuts and all those different things, we know where those things come from. So, and we know that we don't have certain things over here. So we have to substitute that because we're in a different geographical location. And even when people
I want you to say that though. I want you to say that.
Okay. I thought I did. Okay. And even with migrating, what's wrong with the people? What's wrong with the people who migrated out of, let's just say, if they did migrate out of a certain place and they went into another place, whatever they call their tradition, if they was the Gulu Wankulu, if that was their tradition at one time, and these people left and migrated into another area and been there for centuries, they take what they learned and then they add on to what they got, and then they create something else different. This is a reason why you have these different ethnic groups. So the whole purpose of me writing that what's wrong with starting your own kimoyo is we cannot practice the true essence of these cultures because we're in a different geographical location. And when it comes to these things, it's not what we do with regular church folks. Regular church folks, they are people that go to the church, people that go to the mosque, people go to the synagogue, they go to these places on certain days. And most of the time we know these people, they go to these buildings on a certain day. When they come out, that's it. Till they go back Sunday. When you dealing with these customs and traditions, this is something that is ingrained in everyday life. This is different elements. That's why I wrote the book, Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo, to explain the different elements, and these different elements that make up what we call kimoyo. This is something that is ingrained in the culture every day. This is not something that you go to on Sunday, you go to on Saturdays, or you go to a meeting on Sunday night meeting or whatever. I forgot whatever they call it on Wednesdays in church. This is something that they do on a day-to-day basis. So those, go ahead.
We together on that. I begged you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I said this is something that they do every day. When they wake up, there's a practice. Right. On their way to work, there's a practice. Right. From work, there's something that they do. They might they might pour libation 4 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
They might feed the altar 4 times a day, or potentially. So these are the things that we know, but everybody else don't know this. So, so when you say this, and you say that people in America know about certain practices, or I get you on I'm gonna give you the one on divination because certain things do not manifest over here. That's a fact. They don't have access to certain things, so they substituted like shells and all of that stuff. Get you. They ain't got cola nuts, right? For those systems that use cola nut divination, they don't have that to use. For certain divination systems that use cowrie shells, they don't have that. So they use alternatives. Divination is one thing. So in practice, you hear me? In practice, all right? Now, in practice, from what we understand Kimoyo to be, in practice, why is it that the African American can develop a whole new and never study any tradition at its root, and it's okay?
Well, say that one more time.
In practice, at its root, why African Americans do not go back and learn. I'm gonna give you an example. This may be easier. Why we don't have 200 Black Panthers?
I don't know. I mean,
but we got 200 Jabaris.
We got 200 Jabaris.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I hope that you're not trying to now, because you've been knowing me since 16. So I know that you're not. I'm not saying I know you not think I'm saying that it's okay to start something and then say it's African. See, that's not what I'm doing. Now, when you mention Jabari and these other
clear
people
clear it up. That's what people think.
Right, but that's not, you know that's not my attention. You know that's not me. And if I'm saying something new, I'm not saying what they're doing is golfing this stuff under Catholicism, and they're mixing Buddhism and Shintoism and Hinduism, all these different things, they mashing it in and then calling it as a comedic science or whatever they saying, and then selling it back to the people like this is actually what the Remicha, the Kimatu actually was doing and saying this is African. No. That's definitely not what I'm saying. That's definitely not what I'm saying. And even with me saying creating your own Kimoyo, I'm saying we can take some of those elements in this geographical locations that we in, because even, and I could be wrong, even in a sense of people that's initiated and practicing some of these things, they not practicing it in the purest form. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there are certain things that that they have on the continent that we don't have. So I wouldn't create something and say that it is African. I would say it is African inspired, or I would try to come close as possible if I'm creating something here for the African American to have something to be close enough to what our ancestors actually practiced. So I would involve the rites of passages. So there will be ingrained in the culture a naming rites of passages. There will be a naming ceremony. We would name according to the community, we would name them, the females a certain day, the males a certain day. We would establish those names having some type of significance and some type of thing that's tied to their destiny or what they supposed to go on to do. We will do certain things. We will raise men up properly. We will raise women up properly. We will make them understand that procreating is the correct way. We will practice that marriage is a sacred right, and it is a right, and with marriage comes procreation. So the union is important, and this union creates life. Life is important, and how your offspring is important. Also, so it's so many different things that I would try to keep as close knit as African culture as possible. But I would definitely have to implement other things that we have also been involved in over the time, or we actually created here, because the African American over here created culture over here. We created something. We created a culture of what they call it now. This shocking with hip hop. We created slang, so many different types of slang. We created that. Dress. We created that. So I will implement all of that. And even with the dress, we know, well, I'm not finna be wearing stuff, man, that look like I'm in a desert. I'm not finna wear that. I'm not finna wear that, even though they wear those types of dress wear back in the days, and they still wear those types of dress wear, and that dress wear is connected to the culture, connected to the people. I wouldn't wear that. I will implement something that we actually created over here. Implement that in there, but I would try to make the traditions of what I would call Kimoyo or expiring of Kimoyo as close as Kimoyo as possible. But what I'm saying is that through time immemorial, those people in West Africa have moved to different places within Africa, and they have created their own concept. They have created their own traditions, their own way of life, their own way, their own perspective, their own worldview, their own way to where they think humans actually come from, where the humans actually go, what angered God. They created their own deities, what their own deities mean, their own languages, their own rights. You see? Am I still on here?
Yeah, you on here. I just ain't cutting you off because you.
Okay,
you talking.
Go ahead. You
No,
quiet. I'm like, man, I must be on mute.
No. I will let listen. I'm letting you get it out. I'm letting you get it out. So, Ben said this in the chat, and I totally agree with Black Panther. He said male works. Now, what he's insinuating when he says male works, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, the things that we do not have here in America, or in the or in the South America, or in the island area, for those who are trying to reacclimate themselves, because the majority of us we've been Christianized, right? We've been converted to Christianity, and then Christianity was passed down to us by our grandmothers. Through our grandma. If everybody look back, everybody's going to say through their grandmothers or grandfathers or grandmothers and great grandfathers. Wholeheartedly. It starts at the crown, right? So if we're trying to reacclimate ourselves and convert back to some indigenous, why are we not? And this is what I'm arguing. Why are we not removing the veil in which we hid all of our traditions under, and bringing back the actual wholeness, right? That answered all of the questions. There's no, listen, the only new question that is for the Homo sapiens sapien today, I don't know, you may agree with this or you may not, is COVID. It is a new phenomenon. It is a new phenomenon for mankind.
Right.
New phenomenon for mankind is the only answer, right? We don't have an actual, we have a solution, right? But not everybody mentally is there. So what I'm asking is, when we're talking about Kimoyo, for me, when I hear you say Kimoyo, or a SAR or a Black Panther say Kimoyo, the first thing that I do is I look back. I don't look here. I look back.
Right.
So the question is, would we even label what's going on today and what's going on over here under the banner of Kimoyo?
No. You heard what I said earlier. I said if I created something, it would say I will make it close as possible. It would be expiring off of Kimoyo, but I wouldn't say it's African in its sense. But I would say I was expired by those different elements that makes up Kimoyo, and I wanted to implement those things into Kimoyo. And going back to what you said a while ago, like when you dealing with Santeria and what they call in leukemia, or you dealing with Shango Baptist, or any of those other different things, and you saying they hide it, we understand what they did to hide those things, because we knew that our ancestors' way of life was banned. Their language was stripped from them. We know that. We know their culture, their traditions were stripped from them and demonized. So they had to hide them up under these different things. We understand that. I do not agree with what they are doing today. We no longer have to do that today. nobody is physically, well, I'm not going to say that because you still have a couple of places that participate in that in some sense, but we do not have, for the most part, people in plantations. People are chained and being traveled from one place to the next that is working for free, unless you in the correctional facility in the feds or in the states. Then we know slave labor is free or pennies on the dollar. But so I'm not agreeing with what's going on today. So I hope you're not thinking that I'm agreeing just because I'm saying that I'm agreeing with them calling certain deities these European saints names, still hiding up under these European saints name. And I think some of those people that we call these spinoffs through slavery created their own different things, but then housed it up under these different saints. I think they are now trying to separate themselves and saying this is something that belongs to them and not belongs to the African. And am I correct? They're not even saying what they get, what they got is African. You have some people do. You have some people. Huh?
When you look to them, when you look to what's being said as of lately, many of them have wanted to separate themselves from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are with that. But we got Panther on the panel, and Uncle be on here in a minute. So Panther, I'm gonna just kick him off if he get loud.
Yo,
what up, bro? What's good?
Kofi, you said you was going to lay down.
Man, Sean,
he
would not let me lay down, bro. He would not let me lay down.
Liar. I just want to show y'all how he cuss and lies. I just want to show people how he cuss and lies.
To get something to eat.
Ben, that's exactly what I did, Ben. And then
he cusses and lies.
Put something in the chat. Like, Sean, I looked at it. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking he bullshit. So I'm folding my clothes up. I'm finna get ready to go in the room, lay my butt down like I told you. I get a damn notification. Killing Kofi Argument issues which with creating your own chemo. I said,
you have to respond to that, Kofi. You're supposed to be laying down. That's what you told me.
I know it, man. I said, let me hear what this guy got.
I was getting in the shower, and all of a sudden, I said, well, he gonna do whatever. Kofi ain't gonna get in there. But all of a sudden, I look up, you in there.
I won, but I know, I said, let me get in here so I can defend myself because I already know where he going. He misunderstand and misinterpreted or thinking or assuming I'm saying. Yes, you assuming I'm saying something like I'm agreeing with some of the things that you talk about when we talk about these spinoffs, or we talk about some of these people when you mention Jabari, and we know a lot of these shrines are in New York. So in a lot of these people, these shrines that they buying off and they saying it is African, and these people, these are actually an indigenous tradition that comes out of this place when we know it's not. And I'm saying that I'm not saying that's right what they doing, and I'm not agreeing to what they are doing. That's not what I'm doing. All the thing was the case I was trying to make, and I'm saying it again, was people in Africa migrated to so many different places within Africa. That's why I gave you an example, or in East Africa, the Gulu Wankulu with the Chewy people. Then you look in Sierra Leone, you got the Fataru. Those two different names. Those traditions similar. They have similarities, but they are different because of the geographical location. So there's nothing wrong with the people in Sierra Leone, not Sierra Leone, but in Senegal and Gambia. There's nothing wrong with the people in Senegal and Gambia creating something called Fataru, and there's nothing wrong with the Chewy people in East Africa creating something called the Gulu Wankulu. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. And so that's the only case that I was trying to make. It's nothing wrong with it. When you look at Africa, you have what 3,300 ethnic groups or even more than that. And all of the ethnic groups, a lot of their tradition has names for them. And all of them have similar elements, but different elements. And then when you study those different elements, you say, I see why it's familiar here, but they got this, or they doing it this way because of the geographical location that they are in. That's the only thing that that's the only thing that I was trying to say, but I wasn't you trying to make it like I'm saying that it's okay for these spinoffs and then make something and then call it African when it's not African. That was not my case, sir.
First, I want to show this.
Go.
Thank you. What is that? What is that? What is that? Are those cola nuts? Huh? Are those cola
This
nuts?
is obiabata, or commonly referred to as a cola nut. Here in America.
But you guys get it. But you had it's not it doesn't huh?
Online. Mail works.
I understand mail works, but I'm saying it doesn't grow here. But they do. But Ben, they do
in 3 days.
Okay, but Ben.
That can't be argued.
Okay, but during those periods, we didn't have online.
I'm talking about today.
Oh yeah, today, yeah, of course, yeah, today, yeah, right through the mail, right through the mail.
But I was being funny, but in all sincerity, I see both sides of the argument. I'm not for either side. What I will say is, Sean makes it a great point. Why don't we have 200 of people like me? And that's not specific to me, but he's just making an analogy. Because people are not interested in what we have already brought over. People are not interested in what we already have. People are not interested in studying from the root. And in that demographic, you have to read the room. And in reading the room, there's not enough interest to generate your own system. It's just not. Sean made an excellent point when he said, how come you can just make something without studying the other systems? And that's an excellent point. If you don't know African culture and you want to make something that is connected somehow to African culture, these two things don't mix. These two things don't make sense. You have to have people that are very diligent when you talk about creating something like that. And it's not going to be something to where you're going to be able to create it in your lifetime. Your children are going to have to carry that load forward. Other people's children. You have to have a community. See, what people don't know is that when Africans created these, it was a generational creation. It didn't just pop out of nowhere. They didn't just make it in one lifetime. It was a generational, continuous effort to not only create a spiritual system, but a political, social, economic system around the spiritual system, encapsulated with the math and the science and everything they created generationally. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look from 300 AD to 300 BC to 300 AD, you have what's called Proto-Euroboid civilization. And other people would say Nok or Nuk.
Mm-hmm.
That continues all the way to present day. And we know that because of archaeology. We know that because we study the sites. We know that because we study the pottery in their cities. So from the Nok culture all the way to present day Yoruba culture, they carried the same motifs, the same burial styles, the same bead patterns. They made deities. They made this. They made stories. They made all of that. So do we have people dedicated and ready to do that currently? I would say no. I would say no, we don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would say no, we don't. So I see the need for it. Nothing wrong with it. But Sutek said something that made sense. Are we creating something new or are we remixing something old? You have to keep that into account. Are the divination systems attached to this just going to follow the same patterns of the ones we already know? Or are we going to make something new? These are questions you have to ask yourself before you engage in this type of generational discussion, because that's what it is. It's a generational discussion.
It is.
It's not something that Panther or Kofi or Sean or Unc can decide, because we could do all the work and then our children could say to hell with that. And I'll give you an example of that actually happening. See, a lot of people don't know about the war between the so-called progenitor of the Yoruba race, Oduduwa, and the war against Obatala. These two went to war over Ile-Ife. There was a town called Ifon. Ifon was vehemently against Oduduwa's new political practice. They were an Obatala town. They held true to Obatala. The ruler of that town was called Obalufon. Obalufon is why we have that deity now connected to Obatala, because of his loyalty to Obatala. But Obalufon had a son who eventually became king. His son was named Obalufon II. Obalufon II got down with Oduduwa. So all that hard work, all that resisting the political climate, the new takeover in Ile-Ife, all of that washed away one generation. These people in Ifon were anti-Oduduwa. There's Oriki where they say Obatala is the deity of this land, not you, Oduduwa. But that all went away with one generation. One generation, and he became a military strategist and everything for for Oduduwa. Did not hold to his father's teachings. So that's something you got to think about when you get ready to possibly or get things in perspective to create something. Will your next generation continue the legacy? So that's all I wanted to say. What up, Unc?
What's going on, Panther? What's up, Kofi?
What up? What up?
Sean.
What's happening? What's happening with it, man?
Sean, Sean stirring
what?
that pot,
You what?
man. So stirring that pot. So what's the word? What's the word again? How you say that? What's that word?
Moyo.
Where that word come from?
Kimoyo is a Kikongo word.
Huh. Okay. So right there, you're looking at creativity. So let me say this. You know, my primary study has always been religion. And religion just doesn't pop up out of nowhere. It's generational. And it will change based off the ecology, based off of things needing to help you inform and instruct yourself, based off of new enemies coming, based off of new friendships being developed, just based off of things changing in the environment. So you could never have a static religion, even Christianity, Islam, Judaism. If you look at it real close, it is transformed, right? It's not as fluid as other religions, but it's transforming. So this idea that this is that or that's African or that's not. So the question would be, when do you stop being an African and when do you start being an African? Is it in the mutation? Is it by the time you mutate through different environments to get to North America, right? What are we saying here? No, I'm saying that we should never be stuck, because to be stuck is to die. We need to be fluid in our environment. Things change. There are different forestries in North America. There are different plants. There are different herbs. There's different environments, different enemies. Should the enemies be Should the gangs be an enemy to us and our families, our community? Should the drug dealers be an enemy? These situations will change. Should we use them for financial gain? All these things have to be incorporated in your social, political, spiritual system. So I don't know about what African is or what it ain't, because over time being African has changed. And it has changed because the men and women that were considered African has changed. I just wanted to put that out there. And I appreciate you though, Panther. I appreciate the work you do and bringing forth traditional African system. But at the end of the day, man, we are the creators of African systems. If we don't create African systems, then who will?
And if we don't study African systems, then who will?
It's all above. Ain't no easy way out of this, bro.
Ain't no wins down this. Ain't no easy wins down this street.
Nah, bro.
You got to put in the work. I mean, I don't think people. It's hard to express the level of dedication you need to learn some of these African systems, man. I mean, y'all alluded to it earlier when you said daily. Daily, it's not a religion. It's not a coat you take on and off on Sundays or Saturdays or Mondays. It's a daily, every day, every waking moment phenomena. I do something every single day in Isheshe Lagba, whether it's to a deity or not. There's something I do. There's something I do waking up every morning with Isheshe Lagba. It's not avoidable. You can't just stop doing it because people in town for the holidays. You can't just stop doing it because the football game on. You can't stop doing it because you got a midterm. It doesn't end. It doesn't cease. And you have to have that multidisciplinary attitude to it for you to even practice it in a way that's conducive to your life. We now have the benefit of reaching out across the water to our brothers and sisters in Africa and getting any material that we need. It's no longer an excuse like it was in the 60s and 70s when they say, oh, we just didn't have it. So we had to, make adjustments and substitutes. We don't have that excuse anymore. There are 100 websites ready to ship you anything from Africa. It's like I know y'all get the DMs just like I do. They looking to sell you some stuff. They looking to give you some stuff. That's not an excuse anymore. But even with that, there are things we can substitute just based on literature. Like Unc said, it's not stagnant. There are things that can be substituted. I'll give you an example. Most diviners, most Ifa diviners use a powder called Ierosun divine. It's the powder that they mark in. Ierosun, some people are allergic to Ierosun. Some people are allergic to it. They break out for whatever reason. So you can use pounded yam flour or yam flour. That's a substitute. That's something that is okay. Like no one makes a big deal that it's not Ierosun. It's even in the literature that it's a substitute. So, I mean, it's not a stagnant thing like some people think. Some things, got it. You have to use this material. I got it. But those things are not like incredibly unobtainable. It's not like it's impossible. It may take some work. Oh boy, now my wife's asking questions. But but that's a valid question. I mean,
very valid.
You never mastered one system. You're gonna create an entire new one? Do you know what it even takes? It's kind of like, if you never played basketball on a high level, can you coach it to a high level right away? No training? It's gonna be difficult. We gotta understand the dedication it takes, man. The dedication it takes. It will take over your life. You think you got no time now? It will take over your life. Could be good because number one, you're starting out from behind. Every black person in America that didn't grow up in the system through their parents is starting out behind. Period. If they tell you they not, they lying. Because number one, you didn't grow up eating this. This is disgusting. You understand me? It takes a while for you to be able to tolerate this in your mouth. And you have to eat it. It's a part of
very bitter.
Super bitter. Yeah.
And guess what? This isn't even what they call the bitter cola nut. This ain't it. There's another color nut that's more bitter than this. That's number one. Number two, you don't speak the language.
Mm-hmm.
You don't speak the language. So you behind. You got to try to learn a language and learn it in English and memorize it. Because you got to memorize. You can't sit up there and do this. Oriki to Obatala. Go. You can't do that. It's too much other stuff you got to do with your hands while you define it. You can't do that. So you're already starting behind. This thing will take over your life. You'll start speaking in Yoruba to people.
Panther.
What's up?
For the people in the chat that don't know what an Iriki is, could you define that for us, please?
Oriki is praise poetry for the divinity that we use to invoke its presence in our life. So when you go to a shrine, you're chanting Oriki so that that deity can appear. See, a lot of people think that the deities are the shrine itself. No, the shrine is merely a vessel that the deities come to. So if I'm chanting to Ogun, I'm asking him, come to this shrine. Ogun lakae, osini mole, Oguna lada meje tumu biena, Oguna nile owo, olona ola, Oguna nile kangu ona room, Oguna wana yenju, egbe leyen omo oruka. You gotta learn that. Off the dome like I do. And you gotta know what it means. You can't just say stuff. You gotta know what it means. This is the commitment that it takes. You know, and I just don't I mean, as I get it, I see the need for it. I would definitely lend assistance, but it's gonna take some real dedication, and you're gonna have to get your kids ready to take on that burden. And it is a burden. If I could go back again, I would take language courses for like 2 or 3 years before I even got into Orisha. It would make it a lot easier. And that's just one praise poetry for Ogun. Ogun has hundreds of praise poetries. You can learn.
Right. That source you sent me maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. That book.
PDF book.
Yeah, the PDF book with all the Rickies in it. Remember, we were having a conversation about it. And then I asked you, it's got I forget the name of it, I can go back and pull it, but it's an all-white book, a white cover, and then it's got that yellow where they talk about, I think it's to a Batala, as a matter of fact. But you sent me that book. I think you might have sent it to Kofi too, because you asked this book. Because I was looking for it, and you said no, I got it on a PDF, and then you sent it directly to us.
I don't even know the book you talk about. That's how many books I read on this subject. I don't even know the book you talk about.
Yeah, it was something you sent to us a couple of years ago. I mean, it helped me out tremendously with a lot of stuff.
I'm not even sure what
it puts the praise worship in the perspective, because that whole book was dedicated to that. You know what I mean? It talked a little bit about some of the stories, but then it gave you the nuances, so to say. He was like, yeah, this is stuff you got to convert to memory when you're dealing with these discs.
I don't even know the book, but
I'll find it because I got it in the PDF. It's actually in our Drive. I think it's in our Google Drive.
But you know,
It is.
that's something to where if we were to create something, and let's say we wanted to praise Dr. Francis Cress Welsing in an African way, we would have to know things about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and her life, personal things, if we were to follow that format and chant those things in order to call her forth. That means we got to reach out to family members. That means we got to like read like any kind of biography we can find on her, talk to her students at Howard if they are still living, talk to her her constituents as faculty members, comb through her texts and come up with a body of literature to deify her as a deity. That's a lot of work. And we would have to do that over and over and over and over. And when we die, our kids would have to do it over and over and over. And then they would have to do it for us. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to do it for us. Is that the book, Sean? Iyeri Ifa?
I think that's it. I think that's the name.
Yeah. That's it. That's the name. That's the name. That's the name.
It's this joint right here.
Yeah, that's it. That's the book.
This is by the Araba, and Araba means chief. He is the chief Ifa priest of Oshogbo, a city in Osun State, Nigeria. He's Araba Ifa Yemi Eloi Buibon. Consequently, I buy these from his daughter. His daughter has a shop, elajmarket.com. But yeah, everything comes from his city, Oshogbo. But yeah, some of these, and since y'all look through the book, y'all know some of these is long. long. Like this whole page. Long. You see the marks in it.
Yeah, that's a good book though, man. It's definitely a good book.
Memorize this joint, man. Like these are chants to Ifa. This is just about Ifa, by the way. This is not about Ogun. This is not about Oshun. This is not about Oya. It's not about Shango. This is just to Ifa. And I know people say, well, he's just talking about the Yoruba tradition. I'm using them because their system operates a lot similar to other African traditions. If you look to the Okom tradition, they have praise poetry for their obozums. There's something you have to chant to Adori Kofi. There's something you have to chant to Yase. There's something you have to chant to Odomakoma. And you gotta know it. For them, it's tree. For us, it's Yoruba. For the Senegalese, it's Safi or Seher or Wolof. So we already behind, right? We already behind. Everybody in this chat, unless you are from the continent and grew up in your original culture, we behind. Some of us don't come across this information until we 30 and 40. Which means you really got to get going. Quick! Because by the time you're 40 and 50, you should be in your elder priesthood. And we want to create something new. That means we got to get our little ones ready right now. Hey, I know you want to be a scientist. You can be a scientist, but this is what you're going to have to do on the side. Hey, I know you want to make movies. I know you can make some movies, but hey, this is what you got to be working to as well. This is your generational responsibility. And any kid that you have, you got to push them towards this. It ain't no more free will. Ain't no more, oh, let's see what they like to do. Let's see what they're good at. No, this is your responsibility. This is your ancestral responsibility. You better do it after I'm done, after I'm gone, or I'm going to haunt you. That's something, are we willing to do that? Good God Almighty.
Yeah, I wanted to show you that. I don't know if any of y'all in the chat got $2,000, but if you do, listen, I can see if I can. let's see. I can see if I can get Brother Panther to sell it to you for 1,500.
No. You ain't getting it. You ain't getting it.
See how many they got. How many they got? I bet they got very little. When them prices like that, they going
this
out
for
of print.
$2,000? Nah, this is used for $2,000. They have
Oh,
no copies.
That's used, bro.
So how many new? Let's see if they got any new ones in stock.
Oh,
a lot of
zero.
times when you see
No new.
prices like that, it don't be that many available.
No new.
Yeah. So they got 2 copies.
But let me tell you what Nigerians do. Nigerians, and most of them are not in the culture that do this. If they find out a book is popular, they find out a book has valuable information that people will need to know, they'll buy up all of them and price gouge the shit out of them. There's so many books I have on that shelf that did just what that does. So now, we didn't even talk about the money portion, right? Now we got to bring in the money portion. To study these systems costs some money. You gonna have to book a plane ticket. You gonna have to fly. You gonna have to go there. Or meet somebody from there that's willing to bring you that information back. You know how many people I paid to bring stuff back for me? The stuff I have in my shrines from Africa, I didn't go to get it. I just knew somebody going. But I paid them for that. And I paid for the item. This is a lot of work. I see the need for it. Yes, things change. Environments change. Our culture in America is vital, is to be preserved, is to be deified, is to be exalted. Every major music genre on the charts started in some way or form from an African being brought here in chains. That's not to be debated. Whether it's Bessie Smith with the blues or Little Richard with the rock and roll, or the slaves bringing the banjo and people playing bluegrass with it. It's not to be debated. But do we have the people that are going to be dedicated to make that happen? They're not even dedicated to what we got now.
Yeah.
They are comfortable in what Sean said earlier with the Cuban rendition. And if you try to angle them back to the African rendition, they get mad. They get offended.
They have separated themselves away from it now. You know, at one point they were saying it was African. Now they're saying it's not African. It's something totally different than Africa. I mean, in African tradition.
They're not concerned with the roots of the tree. They are happy with the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. I mean, what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do with those type of people? How are we going to get something started with people that look at Africa with such disdain like they do? We'll proudly wear some beads. But the minute you try to tell them about the root, they act all crazy. Like, what are we going to do with those people? We can't do nothing more with those people than we can do with the Hebrew Israelites.
That's why
we can't do nothing more with those people that we can do with people that bash Africa but still wear fezzes. You can't do nothing with those type of people. They don't know who they are.
That's a good point.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Exactly. We can't do nothing more than the people that think they Native Americans. Nothing more with them people. It's the exact same paradigm, the exact same problem. People want to get their ass away from Africa because they've been programmed to do so, and they have been assimilated into Western culture. So much so that they want to snatch a tradition from Africa and make it their own and not include Africa at all. It's the equivalent to me plagiarizing your book, Kofi. Beautiful Lessons of Camilio by Black Panther. Kofi ain't write it. I wrote it.
And be upset with you, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what they do with us. Beautiful lessons of Keyboard. Yo, that ain't no African text. That's a Native American text. I wrote it. And all the information from that's what they doing.
Crazy, man.
So with your text, which is so vital, people, your book is not long.
Nah.
The book is very, very concise. It's very to the point. We can't even get people to look in the book. Like, it's not, none of these books y'all wrote are terribly, excruciatingly long. It's not Blueprint for Black Power here. Like, we can't even get people to read that before they make arguments against our research.
I found the book somewhere else too.
For how much?
I'm gonna show you.
Oh hell. I'm scared.
There you go.
796.
That's the lowest price. Woo!
I'm glad I got the PDF. I ain't lying. I'm still upset.
You can't find the PDF.
Yeah.
Or you can't find a link to be able to access to download the book.
They probably took it down, man. It's when the Araba writes a book, everybody buys the book. He's one of the foremost authorities on our culture. The man went around and studied everywhere. It's him and Wande Abimbola at the top of the list, along with Chief Fama.
And I'm still salty about that, man. I'm salty about that. I'm salty about that, man. I had 3 of the books. I remember I said, I'm gonna send you this one. I'm gonna buy me another one, man. I want you to have it.
I sure appreciate you, bro.
And I got ready to buy that thing. That Chief Fama book. I got 3 of them. I got 2 now. That one right there. That's an excellent book, man.
You ain't never
Hold that book up again. Hold that book.
$700
Fundamentals of E5.
Let me tell you something. Let me show y'all something. This is Kofi book.
Oh yeah, I forgot I wrote my name and stuff in it. I said I'm gonna get me another one. I'm gonna give this to my brother because I want to have him, And then I turn around, go on Amazon and try to buy me another. I said, who finna pay them damn prices for that book, man? I said, shh.
So you had 3 of these books.
No. I've got 3. I had 3 of her books. That one and 2 other books. And that one there, I said I wanted to give this one to Ben because she actually corrected a lot of stuff that was going on. So I was like, man, I want Ben to have this. So
I couldn't find it.
And I sent it to him.
Had this book if it wasn't for Kofi.
Yep.
I couldn't find it for a reasonable price. And if you look this book up right now, Sean, who-wee.
Because I ain't know it, because I got on there. I said, let me go ahead and purchase and get me a new book. Man, I said, I'll be damned. I should have looked at it first before I signed it.
And I found her, right? I reached out to her. I had a conversation with her. And she's selling the book for crazy price.
Oh, is she? Is she? Ooh.
She's trying to get that money too. So I mean,
is she still here or she back in the motherland?
Oh, she's in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Atlanta.
Damn. And she trying to turn person mind out to her. Godly.
Yeah. Well, my time is up. My wife has appeared in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing wrong with him. Get him, sis. Get him.
I wish I could see how she looked.
I already know. A hand on the hip. A hand on the hip.
Tell her she need to cuss out Sean. Tell her she need to cuss.
If a hand on her hip, it's time to go, sir.
All right, man.
Well, until next time.
All right, sis. Y'all have a good evening.
Good night.
All right, good night.
Y'all can keep Kofi up, because you know what I'm saying.
You ain't finna kick me up. I'm
If
finna
it
go
ain't,
get
if it, listen, Kofi, let's just tell the truth. Who got you the swimming pool? Who got your swimming lessons?
my
Who got
wife
the
got
swimming
the
lessons back going? Me.
my wife. You got them back in there. They back
All
in
right,
there.
thank you. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
got a little, I got a little leeway.
Yeah, because it's crazy, man. She'll it seems like when you do something, she tune in to you now, and I don't hardly get the tune ins no more. She ain't on there.
She was in your chat.
I looked at went back. I was at work when Asar interviewed you. I said, well, let me go back and look at my brother interview. And as soon as I click on the thing to watch it, few minutes in, I see my wife come in. They ain't never been over there on the Asar channel. I done looked up. I said, what in the hell is she doing over here? So I had to go and ask her, man, what's going on? I said, how you way over there with Sean and I'm at work? I'm at work. Yeah, she said she was supporting you. You know what I'm saying? She said she was
supporting the brother, man.
Yeah, y'all kind of got similar. Y'all kind of got some of them same ways. That's why she like. That's why she. Yeah, y'all kind of got some of them same ways.
So we tell the truth.
Yeah, y'all get on my
don't care who like
it. Yep, that's it. That's it. Shit. Oh yeah. And I done recorded this, bro.
I know you did.
I got it on.
You were.
I got it on my.
You was recording it.
Yeah,
you finna try to put it to your podcast or something?
Yep, I got it on.
Yeah, I want my money. Yeah, you over here secretly. Listen, y'all. He was secretly recording it because I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because if somebody would have took it down, which they wouldn't, he wanted to have it because he was waiting on me to beat him up. Because he was all right. I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna get him back.
Oh yeah.
That's all he been thinking. That's all he was thinking about. Hey, look, listen, y'all. He couldn't eat his food good when he seen that. He couldn't even lay in the bed correctly because I got up on his skin like that. He like, this motherfucker, man, he been getting on my nerves all day.
Yep. I got a question.
All right, here you go.
Yeah, y'all didn't say we can't create our own religion, did y'all?
No, we didn't say that.
Yeah, Sheffrin, Concrete Core, y'all made that shit up.
They don't be listening.
Just checking. I wanted to make sure. I'm about to say, damn.
No, bro. They be coming in halfway through the conversation and don't know what's what.
Okay. Yeah, I said I was going to ask that question.
What we just discussed, right, was the intricate pieces and parts that goes into doing such a thing. Like, how invested are you in that? How invested are you keeping it going? And that's when Ben said, if you created your own, who's to say that your kids are going to follow?
Yeah,
right?
I was in there. That's why I was like, no, but humans make religion though.
Nah,
like
man,
the aliens and the gods don't come down. The God don't come down and give you religion.
No,
the God don't come down.
Right. And see, that's the thing.
People do that.
Right. I mean,
that's crazy as hell.
You know, and we done talked about that numerous times. I mean, it's
we having a conversation about people basically remixing or insinuating that they're gonna make they're gonna make something African that ain't African. You see what I'm saying?
You talking about when Jabari and them do all that?
You did it too. You did it too. See?
Yeah,
I knew I ain't the only one.
Don't say it.
No, I said it. I said it. Kofi said it. You said it.
Yeah, but I don't see nothing. But be for real, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But
yeah,
I don't know.
You have to put it in proper context.
Yeah, and they saying that that's exactly what the things that they doing. It's cool that they doing it. Don't get me wrong. I ain't knocking on them. Sean's not neither. The thing is, the hang up is they passing it on as that is exactly what the Kemetu or the Rich did. This is African. This is no, it's not. This is something that they actually created. And then when you look at it, they mixing and matching. They mixing and matching. You got elements of African culture in there. You got Catholicism in there because Jabari was a Catholic at one time. He's a renowned Catholic. You got look like they got Buddhism in that they do, because when you talk, and nothing wrong with the chakras, not the chakras, but the Kemetic yoga. I mean, all of this stuff is not African, but they passing it off like it's African. That's where we got the issue, and that's where the issue lies at with them. But that's cool. That's dope that they created that. Just say we created this. This is something new. We was expired and by this, that, and the third, and we took it and we took those elements from this culture, that culture, and that culture, and we made it into our own. That's cool. But when you passing it off as this is what they actually did over there in Kemet, they're a damn lie. And I tell them to their face, they a damn lie.
Y'all cut me, y'all. I'm gonna get me a microphone, y'all.
Oh, go ahead, dog. I'm sorry.
y'all crazy.
Hey man, I heard you saying let you get your point off. I shut up and Kofi kept talking.
Oh, my bad. I ain't hearing. I'm sorry. But that's how they do me when I come over to the pseudo killers too. But it's all right. Go ahead.
I'm saying the only problem I've ever had with it is the lie. The lie is, that came from, they did that. No, that's the lie, bro. Mm-hmm. That's an African American expression on a civilization from Africa. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not even knocking that, right? My whole thing is, and once you create it, don't fake us out and make us think it got some kind of power that it really don't. That's another pet peeve of mine. Don't act like that shit gonna stop bullets. Don't act like it's gonna give your kids an education to be able to compete in the space age. Don't act like that. Don't act like it's gonna get them kids out of gangs. Don't act like that. Don't act like you can and some shit gonna occur. Don't do it. See, that's when it's out of order, and that's when I gotta step in, because there are things that we use like social groups, right? Areas where community can talk to men and women, the young babies, and raise them up to understand what gun violence is, to understand what gang violence is, to understand the effects of drug and alcohol and marijuana on the African mind, on the human mind, right? This is why we send them to school, to be scientifically literate, to study psychology, to study biology. These are the tools we'll use to inform and instruct ourselves moving forward, because these are the tools that are here. So, in the Stone Age and the Iron Age and the Bronze Age, those tools wasn't there. You just think a nigga was crazy, or he's just crazy. Now we can sit down and have a talk with a psychologist, right? So if you broke your leg in the Stone Age, they just buried your ass. You did. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no theory of germs. Your ass was grass. You just pray on them and woo, and maybe you make it, maybe you don't. But that goes for all human beings did that. So now, man, that's my whole point. That at the end of the day,
why you think all human beings did things the same?
Sean, I'm trying to tell you that all human beings had the mindset to think they could do some shit that they couldn't do. All human beings.
I'm not listening. No.
That was my point. That's what I said. That's what I said, Sean. All human beings. And they all figure out a way to do this shit slightly different, Sean. That don't make your way better. That don't, you know what I'm saying? I just root for the African side. That's simple as that. But that don't make it better. Only to me and you make it better. But it don't make it better to everybody else. I'm just saying, we find a million different ways to be spooked out, to be all kind of ways. Human beings do that. They'll find something to believe in, bro. That's just part of being human. But go ahead. What you going to say? I'm going to mute out.
Do you believe in the Ravens?
No, hell no. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Because they finna punt the ball back to the Browns.
Man, no, they're gonna get that first down.
No, they ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you watch the game.
Okay, you'll hear them and they punting. All right, I ain't fucking with you. Let me get off this motherfucker, yo. You doing crazy.
All right, so look, the point of the argument is this. I got Kofi to clear the air, because there's people that's under the assumption that Kofi is promoting is promoting for them basically to create their own and hide it under the banner, see, of Kimoyo. And that's where I get defensive at, because no, you can create whatever you want to create, but you're not going to hide it under the banner of Kimoyo, because at the root of Kimoyo are cultural and traditional nuances that make up Kimoyo. And if I don't see those elements in that which you're trying to hide under the umbrella of, then I'm gonna call you out for it. And then you know what I'm saying? You're doing certain things. Like, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. The boat of Ra ritual. There's no ritual in ancient Kemet regarding the boat of Ra. Can you find that in any of the funerary texts? Right. So,
and you even when you look at those netherworld texts, like I was very heavy, and I can go pull out all those netherworld texts, the Amdawab, the Duwab, the Lenses of Ra. It's a couple other books that I got, and the Lenses of Ra, the Duwab, the Amdawab, they all speak of those. Those are different. There are different stories that are told about Ra going through the netherworld, and so forth, and fighting against a pet. But I don't see nothing. I hadn't studied nothing in there where the Remich was actually and created some type of boat ritual to Ra. I hadn't seen it.
All right. So, and then it goes even further when you're dealing with people who actually assess the whole point of using, Santeria, right? And mask it as what it is. But many people don't know that, they don't want the affiliation. We keep saying that they do not want the affiliation. We have the actual official statement, right, from the heads that has been handed down to that. Yeah, they pay homage and respect, blah, 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 but they don't want the affiliation. So what I'm saying to our African-American brothers and sisters, especially those of you in South Florida area and so forth, who wearing, or Atlanta and places like that, wearing your Elike beads and representing the traditions and things of that nature. Like, just be careful with what you're doing or the image that you're portraying, because it would be nice for me to see that everybody reacclimate themselves back to Isheshe. If you're going to do anything, why mask it up into something that was hidden in Catholicism? And Sister Alima before made the same argument. Like, why are we still, brothers and sisters, why are we still hiding behind Catholicism? For what?
No need to.
Absolutely no need to. So I wanted the air clear, and I was gonna force you to clear the air.
Well, I got on here. I'm glad. I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't even finna look at the show.
Yeah, you
and I was like, hold on, let me go on, look on, because this shit gonna worry me.
I know it was.
And let me look and see what's going on. So I sit on here and
look. You couldn't ignore it because it had your name in it.
I mean,
if it was something else, you wouldn't have. If it was, if it was a whole nother show, if it was a whole nother show, you would have ignored it and said, "Man, I ain't watched it last night, but I'm gonna watch it later on."
I watched it later on. That would have been my same thing. Shit, I'm gonna watch it in the morning. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm gonna click it on. I'm gonna watch. That's what I do when you go live. That's what I do anyway. I can't never hardly catch the show, so I catch it when I either do a show when I'm at work, or you do a show early in the morning when I'm sleeping.
Look at this lame in the chat. Look at this lame. Little lame. The little 2 foot dude.
2 foot? I don't know who you talking about.
Little 2 foot.
Yeah. But shut up. But okay. But I will say this. I'm finna get up off here though, man. I'm gonna say this. with people seeing that in that my name attached in there, it's a shame how people start piling in here like you was finna, I guess, give me the business or talk down bad on me or whatever the case they may. And I thought of him. Me and Sean argue all the time. They'll tell you in the back chat. Me and Sean argue. Me and Sean cuss each other out. But at the end of the day, shit, that's my brother. At the end of the day, even if I say this, even if he did come on here and he got bad and talked about me and talked about my family, and I wouldn't have did now. I wouldn't have jumped on here and did no show or just jumped on in because I can just jump in the link, but I wouldn't have did no rebuttal show or nothing like that. But it's just a shame how people think that, it's a shame the controversy. They think it's some super controversial. We done fell all the way out where, they finna see something good. So they start piling in here. And that was making me madder than, wasn't mad, but that was making me mad when I started saying, God damn, look at them all just the number just steady popping up because they thinking, you know what I'm saying? Which I ain't know what you gonna say. I'll be honest with you, I ain't know what you gonna say, but I ain't think it would never be. But I knew it wasn't gonna be bad because, shit, our relationship ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Where,
Right.
Where we gotta go live and we gotta assassinate each other or talk bad about each other, our family, or talk about our business like that. Everybody knows shit. We fuss, we fight, we cuss out, but shit, at the end of the day, that's what I do that with my with my other brothers, my biological brothers. We fuss, we fight. I got one brother, I love him and take a bullet for him and shit. When we lived in the same household together, we fought every day. The neighbors used to have to call my grandmother before they called the police because we fought. I'm saying hands. We put hands on each other every day because we were too much of a like. But I still love him. And still to take a bullet for him if need be. If he in trouble for any little thing, I'm there for him. That's what we do. We disagree, we fuss, we fight, but at the end of the day, shit, we brothers. So shame on y'all, man, for thinking, man, that it's gonna be some crazy stuff. In left field. Like I say, he cussed me out, I cuss him out, and that's it. That's it. But I'm finna get up out of here, man. I appreciate it. You actually set it up for this show. Actually set up for tomorrow. Tomorrow is I lunch in the golden 3D reflection. I made a logo, but it's a clothing, the Kimoyo. So tomorrow, our Kimoyo hoodies, hats, socks, pants, sweatsuits. I'll be up on Mboka Family Connect Apparel. So this show just alley-oop the Kimoyo. Alley-oop the promotion for the bar, man. But I'm finna jump up off here, man. I'm finna get up off here. I'm finna go do what normal folks do. I'm finna lay down, man.
He a liar.
Bruh. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling Ben today, bro. Off air, man. I was telling him today.
He's a liar. He's gonna
What's
be on
been going on with me, bro? I'm telling you, bro. I've been laying down, bro. Shit, you called me the other day. I was in the bed. I known to be up. You called me at 11:30, bro. I was in the bed.
That's true. You was in the bed.
Man, I've been trying to get some. Even though it just been on me, man. I ain't been right, man. When my body just been telling me to lay down.
Is your paw handled?
Yeah, with the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent him something. I'm gonna send him something else today, but so we can be getting straightened. So I'll probably be sending you something probably in the next day or two. I told him I'll send him something tomorrow and then chop it back up with him tomorrow.
No, I just want to make sure so that the brother know that, what I'm saying, we did,
Yeah. I told him you took 1, 3, and 6. No, what you took? You took 2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, 6.
Yeah, 2, 4. I told him you took 2, 4, and 6. I took 1, 3, and 5. So I told him we already got it knocked out, man. But I told him I'm gonna send him something because I actually sent him that the other day. He just approved the other two yesterday, and I called him up yesterday and talked to him for a few minutes. So I told him I'm gonna send him 2 more tomorrow, Monday, so he can look at it and look at both of them and then approve them, and we can go ahead and get straightened, and then go ahead and approve them last 2, and then work out the rest of the straightening, and go and get him out the way.
Cool.
Sean did good. He barely even talked about Kofi. he did say something though. He said,
I want to say one thing, man. I want to say one thing. One thing. That's all I had to say, man. I ain't gotta say too much.
But
everybody know he still represent goddamn cancer, breast cancer month, second base.
Yeah.
His dye, his hair represents second base culturally. He tied to second base. You know what I'm saying? That's how his wife got him. He was so hooked on second base.
Yeah, I was hooked on second base, man. Shit, I'm hitting home run now, buddy. Home run. But shit, man, let me get up out of here, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. Peace. Appreciate everybody for tuning in too, man. I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all and go get that coloring book. If y'all ain't got that coloring book, go get that coloring book, man. And the 30th is Tuesday. So the deadline for the comprehension book, if y'all want to be in a comprehension book and have y'all name in a comprehension book and your contribution.
And some people don't know about it, man. They might not be your Facebook friends. So can you explain what's going on and why the 30th?
All right. Well, real quick, we created something called the Spearmasters Institution. We got a book called Spearmasters. So we created a Spearmasters Institution. And this institution is for the kids. It's for kids between the ages of 7 and 13. That's coloring book 1. So we got numerous of coloring books coming out. It's a learning coloring book. So we did that. That's from anybody from 7 to 13. They want the coloring book, they can get the coloring book. And actually, people been receiving the coloring book good. I actually been selling more off of the website because people been buying them in bulk. So they've been buying them by wholesale. So I don't have wholesale prices on the website. So I've been selling them wholesale. But that's for the coloring book. Then we doing the comprehension book is the Spearmasters Institution Comprehension Book 1, which there'll be other books behind it. So we trying to get everybody else involved in that as well. We're trying to raise the comprehension level of our children. So the comprehension book is targeting toward 13 to 21. It can be even older than that because we have adults that can't comprehend well with a lot of things that they're reading. So it's a comprehension book. So we're just trying to raise the level of the comprehension book. So we was asking for submissions. So we was asking for people that are writing, people that are aspiring writers, people that are honest, people have a little sense of research methodology, especially when we're saying being honest. We want accurate information because we're going to go through those submissions. So we're asking for 1 page of information and 15 questions following. The 15 questions are pertaining to the one page of information, something that you actually can do within an hour, something you can actually do within the day, or something you can actually do within 30 minutes. He said Kofi Piesie. Now that's what I would have if I was still in my gangbanging days. That's what I would have said. But yeah, so that's the comprehension book. We have I actually with that, a lot of people need to start doing what they say they're gonna do, but I ain't tripping on that at all. I had over 32 people names that I wrote down that was actually going to submit something. But I think we got 12 people who actually submitted something, and I got 2 more in that are submitted today, and I got a few more, so they're going to submit, I guess, before the 30th. But after the 30th, we're going to start going through them, edit them out. Hopefully, Sean be able to help me edit them real quick because I want to go ahead and put it up on the get it through and get the proof copy ordered this weekend because we're trying to have it out by the 16th. So if you want to contribute to helping raise the comprehension level of the kids, please submit it to you can either do it at labarrisnelson@yahoo.com or info@kofipiesie.com and submit your submissions. We're gonna go through them, we'll put it up, and we're going to put your name in the book. So if you type in your name, your name will actually be attached to this comprehension book. So again, it's Labarius Nelson at yahoo.com or info@KofiPiesie.tv.com if you want to submit 1 page of information following 15 questions, and it is targeting the ages of 13 through 21 with this comprehension book. Your name will be in the author section of the book. So whoever contributed to the book, your name will also be placed in there as an author. So if you go look on Amazon, you will see your name up under the contribution of the authors, Lulu, Target, or whatever global network whatever platform that it lands on, it will also, it'll be on it. It'll also be on our website as well. So the end of the date is the 30th. The topic doesn't matter. The topic doesn't matter long as it's honest, long as it's accurate, because we will be looking at it, because it's maybe 1 or 2 I know I definitely need to look at it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to look at it. So long as it's honest, it's accurate, and you got the 15 questions following behind it, it is cool. Well, all right.
You done, man? Because I was asleep.
Yeah, I'm done, man. Anytime I'm talking, you
damn,
go
man, that took forever.
Yeah, but
I
that's
said,
it.
briefly to tell the people what's going on, and you went through a whole soliloquy, man.
Yeah,
Is you finished? Is you done, or is you finished?
I'm finished and I'm done, brother.
Yeah, I'm kicking your.
I'm out of
He's
here
finally
anyway.
done, y'all. So on that note, man, look, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, like the show, share the show, do all those good things. Make sure y'all go pick up all our books. Link to the books in the description. And we out of this thing. My bad. Y'all know how I roll out.
I don't want to be